Thanks for doing this with us.
Oh
it's
man,
super pleasure.
great to see you again. This was a nice surprise.
I know it's been years, really.
Yeah.
Been all over the world and doing your music thing. It's really awesome.
Thank you very much.
Why don't you tell us just a little bit about what you've been into lately?
In the last few years now, especially with, you know, there was that video that went viral on YouTube for me, you know, that I think pretty much started a touring career for me as an ukulele player.
When you play places, do you usually play solo, or have you put together a band now, or is it mostly just you traveling on your own?
Yeah, most of the time, I would say majority of my performances are solo performances, and of course, one of the greatest thrills for me is when I get to collaborate with a symphony. You know, when you play like with a 60-piece orchestra, I mean, that is really, is just, you know, it's very moving, and for me, I get a real rush out of that.
It's pretty obvious that you're an ukulele extraordinaire, and some of our friends wanted to know, is there any other instrument that you've ever wanted to learn and master at the same level? Or?
I've never had any desire to play anything else other than the ukulele, but I have dabbled with other instruments. A little bit of guitar, just a little bit of bass, a little bit of piano. I played drums in high school because I was in the marching band.
It's fun, yeah.
And yeah, and I loved it. But all of those things helped me to develop my skills on the ukulele.
I'm curious, personally. I was lucky enough to go through a class where I made an ukulele, and so that really taught me a lot about the intimate relationship that you can have with your instrument. Especially having made a second one where one came out sounding pretty good and the other one was like, eh. And I'm curious, for you, of all the ukuleles out there, do you use a specific one for a reason, or do you just go for the one that sings to you and that's it, that's what I'm going with?
Pretty much my entire life, I've played kamaka ukuleles. And it was because, you know, when I was growing up, like all of my heroes played kamakas. And, you know, and my mom, she had a kamaka, so
that was one of the only ukuleles being sold in
yeah.
when we were growing up.
You know, and they've been around the longest. I mean, you know, I think they're going on 100 years now. You know, as a family business, making ukuleles. So
it's that long.
Yeah, it's really amazing, and a lot of like iconic artists, you know, have been picking up the instrument. You know, people like I think it started with Iz and his version of Over the Rainbow, Israel Kamaka Bivole. You know, but then now we have, you know, bands like Train, people like Eddie Vedder, you know, Taylor Swift picking up the ukulele. Even Dave Matthews is picking up the ukulele. You know, you got Jack Johnson and Jimmy Buffett, all playing. You know, Paul McCartney, all playing the ukulele. You know, in their concerts, and I think it's just turning on all these people, you know, to the instrument because they're seeing it in a way that's cool, and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, Paul McCartney plays the uke, what? You know, like Eddie Vedder's playing the uke.
How'd that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's the coolest thing, right? Because I think for a lot of people, their perception of the ukulele was still the old Tiny Tim and Tiptoe Through the Tulips. I think it's especially the younger generation, they're kind of picking it up and being like, you know, they're putting down their electric guitars and picking up the ukulele, and I think that's great.
It's good to see it carry on. You only play 4-string mostly, huh?
Yeah, 4 strings. Yeah.
Well, I thank you for your time. Truly.
Oh, no.
It's been a pleasure to do this interview with you, brother, for real.
Yeah. Whew. All right. Whew.